You are a part of everything there is, not only in a materialistic way, but also in terms of other experiences, be it a feeling, sensation, or anything else, as it's all made of the same. Since energy in its unbound state, prior to being confined by laws or a field, is expressible in any way at all, to try to comprehend it only intellectually or as being purely corporeal is an unsatisfactorily narrow approach. To give a better idea, art, as an example, has the power to make one feel a certain way, yet nothing about the specific arrangement of shapes, colors, sounds, rhythms, and so on evidently carries the body of the feeling. That is the quality inherent to the observer, where the art piece is but a blueprint for the feeling. Do not confuse the indescribable source condition of energy with particulars of such order, though. By extension, art as an external object can be empirically measured, but the feeling it translates into is not measurable by any means, regardless of the instruments used. The way it's registered is through immediate experience only, and carries its qualities in much the same medium. In essence, whatever we can become aware of is just as real as anything, with the main difference being its persistence. The point being made is that besides with the mind, there are several distinct ways in which energy is experienced. This is especially evident with use of intent. Contrary to where a materialistic approach inevitably takes one to conclusions of determinism and absence of free will, a broader view allows you to recognize how change originates from intent, independently of external conditions or otherwise, based on choice. Intent is in essence charge, applied anywhere at any time to anything, and is therefore not strictly bound by any system imaginable. When it comes to use of intent within structures, it is even convertible into a mind state. One can easily convince themselves of being a certain way, and surely it will be so for them. They could as well use tools and levers to influence others, and it will no longer be an isolated case, provided there is consent either. This brings us to a point where the notion of subjectivity is not a matter of there just being things that are impossible to know, but rather that they are not understood, where understanding is having access to a higher level perspective by combining all available information. Since there is a spectrum of how accurate the knowing head is, the effectiveness of one's predictive and consequently creative ability is also a variable, which in itself is an objective circumstance, as you will probably agree. So, provided one is fully aware of their experiences and their cause-effect relationships, meaningful sense can be extrapolated from whatever needed intuitively. It is fairly obvious that if one has access to source code of a system, they can extrapolate anything and therefore be more effective in getting the desired result. This essentially comprises one's ability to think and function clearly. The effects we experience coming from the external world are not really external when we become in touch with them. And so, contrary to the stance of mainstream science, our immediate experiences are not some vague and meaningless hallucinations, but rather completely valid points of data that get nonetheless filtered by our biases. The way by which we get genuine comprehension is not by reliance on measurements done by others, but ourselves only. Whether consciously or subconsciously, you respond only to the information that is relevant to you. Other information you simply don't even register much, since there is no narrative for it to plug into. Understand that your matrix of meanings within the universe is individual and has no unchanging foundation. It is but fiction that you write and believe at the same time, so when you think you live in the external world, you really are in your own imagination. The physical world provides the set for your play. All that said, to think clearly, you need to recognize how whatever happens in your immediate experience is the reality you get and get to work with. There are no meaningless coincidences or artifacts of causality and correlation. Whatever is in your immediate experience, the way it makes you feel is what it really is, provided you've done the inner work.